head football coach of your UTSA Roadrunners. Rested, refreshed after a weekend of barbecue and football. Yeah. Head coach Jeff Traylor joining us. Morning, Coach. How's your Monday?
Morning. We're good. How are you guys?
We're lovely. So what you get done, man? What you been doing on your day? Are you recruiting? I know you ain't just been resting. I know that for a fact. Where you get done? Some recruiting, some game planning.
It is funny how the perception. It's amazing how many people, family included, just call me up. I want me just to hang out during the bye week. I'm like, nothing changes. We practice on Tuesday. We practice on Wednesday. We lift and run on Thursday. I'm recruiting Thursday night. I'm recruiting all day Friday and Friday night. Saturday's the one day you get a little bit of peace and tranquility, but you know how that is. You feel guilty, so you get up early and you watch, 2 or 3 UAB games before the other games come on. So it is nice to not have that stress level, I will admit, just to have a normal Saturday and be a fan and watch your buddies coach. But other than that, you don't get a lot of – it's not what people visualize it is.
So when we see all those coaches polls that come out, we always assumed they were highly informed. You guys had studied all the other teams across the country and gave us your best estimation of who was in the top 25. We shouldn't pay any attention to those?
Lord, no. You got 25 IDs filling out a poll and a coach just sending it in. We don't have time to watch anybody else. We're watching UAB. I did watch Illinois because, I'm a huge fan of Barry Lunny Jr., obviously.
They play defense up there.
I watched Western Kentucky and North Texas because that could hopefully we'll see, one of those guys again because that means we're in a championship game. And then I watched, obviously, UAB to get a little work done. But, it's just not – the only thing I would say that's refreshing, again, is just not having that stress, that pressure, that sick feeling that you hate but you're addicted to every Saturday.
Exactly, that sick feeling of we got something. There's one thing I forgot to do. Jeff Traylor joining us here on San Antonio Sports Star. So in all that tape watching the UAB, see anything new, different? Are they still as good as you thought they were? Yeah,
they're scary. They have the number one running back in the country. He's Bijan-like. He's a great back. We couldn't stop him last year. They had 300 yards at halftime last year. The receivers, the leading receiver in the country, yards per catch. They're the number one defense in the conference, and their home record's 27-3, and they're undefeated at home again this year. They're beautiful now. They're a beautiful football team. They've won the most in our conference since 2017. We have a ton of respect for them, and we better be ready to go or they could embarrass us in Birmingham.
Coach, give us an update as far as your health-wise, especially offensive line. That's been your main concern. There are guys getting a little bit more healthy. You getting back close to anything near what you started the season?
No.
Okay.
Mekhi Hart's done for the year. We already knew that. Meach is done for the year. That was the right tackle and the left tackle. We had those two kids go down during the game. They'll be game time decisions. They've not been able to practice yet. So we'll get, hopefully, we'll get two more guys that will show up on the scene for Saturday. Now, the rest of the team, we feel like took a really huge step in getting their legs back under them. Obviously, Wisdom's done for the year and Madison's done for the year. So, whenever you have 3 all-conference football players done for the year, one of them's preseason player of the year, those are huge losses, but you can't control it. All you can control is what you got. And the guys that left had a really good week, lifted, a lot of yoga, a lot of cryo, a lot of treatment, and we should be – the ones that are out there will be as fresh as possible Saturday.
You know what, Coach? I know your kids have a responsibility to the community, but, this week, man, I saw your kids everywhere. Now, I know you want them to be in the community. I get that. It's a part of the job. But does it concern you how thin they've been spread this week? They've been with Facebook, it tells it all. We all got kids at all these different elementaries. I'm like, man, these guys are putting in work.
Yeah, but I just believe that blesses you in so many other ways, man. I know when I'm exhausted and I'm out taking care of people and giving back, there's some kind of superpower that comes in you. And I got my own beliefs on what those powers are, but we can't get into that. I just believe you either breathing life into people or sucking it out of them. And my guys breathe life into them, and that life's going to get breathed right back into them, which is going to breathe right back into our team. Our team is different, Rudy. They're a very giving, mature, They love the city of San Antonio, and I believe sevenfold that's going to come back to them.
Jeff Traylor joining us here on San Antonio Sports Star. Yes, it's a full-time job being a Division I athlete, and there's a lot that goes on far away from the football field. A lot of people don't realize how much work it is to be a successful student athlete, and it's tough. And having a coach like that getting you out there to do that, it means something. We appreciate that, Coach. Looking at the tape from FAU, what did they do this weekend that you'd like to mimic?
Oh, man, they made plays at critical times now. I was very impressed with the throws the quarterback made and the coverage. I mean, UAB had them covered like a blanket, and those kids were just making plays. The last play of the game, what a great throw by Zeno for UAB to the receiver, and just a heck of a play by FAU's corner to break the ball up. They just made plays, and it was very impressive. It was a huge win for Willie. And, UAB on the road is 0-4. And at home, they're undefeated. There's something that team's got right now. They struggle on the road getting it done. Now, when you lose your starting quarterback and you've had to play. Now, Zeno played really good.
He did.
But still not, wasn't their starter the last 2 weeks. So I really was impressed with the plays FAU made on the ball in very, very crucial times.
Yeah, Coach, this is just, kind of out there for a question for a coach, but would you rather be taking on a team that took a loss like that or took a nice win?
I've spent many years of my life wasting a lot of time worrying about that kind of stuff, Rob. And I literally have stayed. I don't know who to root for during the game. And you sit there and you're like, what is it? You have no control over this. What are you doing? You think it matters who you're rooting for right now? I don't know.
Keep that to yourself, Coach. I think it matters when I'm yelling.
I've had a team, before that lost, and it bonded them together. I knew we were going to come out there and play like gangbusters, and I've had teams before that lost, and they didn't have the chemistry to pull together, and it made us separate. So I would always, as a coach, I want to be winning because it's just easier to get them to come to practice. I really don't have a good answer for you. I apologize.
No. Sorry. I always wondered about that, not being in that realm. Do you want a team that feels the sting of defeat, feels like they got to do something? Or do you want a team that, maybe coasted to an easy win, feel like they're already doing everything right? Why get concerned?
Here's what I would say. They've got 9 starters returning on defense, 7 redshirt super seniors on defense, and they've been the number 1 defense in the conference for multiple years. You would think that mature football team, they had the most players returning in our league. You would think an older group like that would handle that loss correctly, and we're fixing to get their greatest effort, is what I would think. Desperate people live different than prosperous people.
Take a look at Rudy right now. It looks good.
Coach, the biggest question of this weekend, and especially tonight, you giving out good candy, man. You got a reputation uphold. We love you. You can't come outside with that terrible candy, the almond joys and candy corn. Is the wife taking care of the kids? She got it.
She's the fun one in our group. There's a reason they call her Care Bear, right? It ain't me. You'd be very disappointed in me. I'd be handing out probably some sugar-free gum or something, But my wife's going to have way more in the budget for Halloween than I would have had, Rudy.
Okay, I was just making sure. Hey, that's a good wife. That's what they do, man. I appreciate that.
Hey. Coach, it's going to be a big game this week. This is one of those that I'm glad you had a couple of weeks to get ready for, because it's not a pivotal game for the season, but it's certainly kind of feeling like it's coming down to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I had them picked when the season started. You can go back on record at the media day. They asked me who I thought should have been picked, and I thought it should have been UAB. Again, since 2017, they're the best team in this conference. They're 27-3 at home. That's phenomenal when you think about it. That's 30 games. That's 5 seasons. And they've only lost 3 games at home. They're undefeated this year. And they're just the most physical team we play other than the University of Texas and Houston when you look at them on the hoof. I mean, they are long, they are athletic, and they are big, and they've won a ton of football games. And we're on the road. So we're going to have to play one of our very best games. Now, here's the positive side of that. Our best game's still out there. We're getting better. We're getting better each week defensively, offensively. Due to the injuries, we've kind of spittered and sputtered. I still think because of our players, there's that game. And if we could just get some normalcy some reps of the same. Like I was watching Barry's game at Illinois. Said the same offensive linemen have played every snap the entire year.
Well, that's not.
And
I'm
like,
insane.
We're like on number 10 and 11 right now.
Right.
That's just. It would be really nice to get in one of those kind of grooves right now.
You know what, Coach? This year's defense, and I'm not taking away. I mean, of course, you had huge turnover on offense, but you still have your core, and you're still able to, have a really dominant offense. But this defense, to me, I don't know. I feel like they've taken a step forward from last year. Is that am I off?
Well, last year we started out so hot. We had 21 starters returning out of 22. We were a really old football team like UAB. This year, we lost some. You lost arguably the rookie of the year on defense now.
Yeah, there's no argument. He is right now.
You lost, your will linebacker who's playing the league right now. You lost your nose guard, your 4 technique. You lost Clarence Hick at Sound. You lost AP, who's the GA for me now at safety. We just lost a lot of kids on defense now. So those kids have continually gotten better. I think we're getting better on defense at a time where last year we were kind of just maybe smelling ourselves a little bit.
Right.
And thinking about how good we were. But this year's team had some rough losses early. We were injured early, and it just makes you tougher when you had to go through stuff like that, Rudy.
That's what I think, because I just look at the games where the offense has kind of started slow. Y'all have leaned on the defense, and with all that said that you lost, I'm still like, I feel like, man, this defense is really, I think they're better than what we think, because there's been a few games where it's like, look, the offense is kind of struggling, but the defense has kept you in it.
Especially in conference play. The last 4 games, we have really, really improved. Now, I defended my defense early when, some of the knucklehead media guys were out there getting all over them. You go play Houston, Army, and Texas, and you let me know how good your stats are going to be.
Right.
I think that was great for our defense. Had to play 3 really good teams. It just gives the media, some ammunition to come with the head coach about all these statistics that are out there.
Hey, Coach, we appreciate you stopping by this week. Hopefully everything goes smooth. A nice weekend of football. Got you renewed and ready to go. UAB on the docket on the road. This is a big game. We're excited about it. Have a great week of practice. We bid you good health. We'll talk to you next Monday.
Thanks, Rob. Rudy, appreciate you guys. God bless. Birds up.
Birds up for sure. Coach Traylor.